Hello, this is Joyce Chow for MBN and News Video Web. We're here at the Lux Hotel for Wow Creations. They're gifting suite celebrating the Academy Awards, and we're here with none other than Keith Dorrington, the executive producer and writer for Oscar-nominated, multi-Oscar nominated fighter, the fighter, yes. And congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
That is so cool. So how's it been since you've been here in LA? I mean, it's been probably a whirlwind.
It's been a whirlwind, actually, even since the movie came out, because it just took so long to get made. It took us, there's been a number of hurdles that we had to go over, but 12 years for me. So for me, it's been 12
years?
Yeah.
Okay, wait a minute. 12 years from when you had the idea till?
Well, 12 years from the day Dick, I lived the story, so the day Dick came out of prison, my brother was his, keeping him on the path to sobriety. So for me, it was the day I met the two of them in the gym. For the very first time, they started to train each other for a comeback. And at that time, everybody felt like, Mickey was too old. He was 33. Dick had just came out of prison. His reputation wasn't as good, and he wanted to overcome that. So I said, well, why don't I show who you are now? And why don't I show the sober side, and two guys that love each other that are having a quest, that are trying to make one last run at it. And so I grabbed my camera out. It was a snowstorm out, and filmed the two training on their first day back. And from that day, he won his first fight, his second fight, his third fight, and finally won the championship of the world through Shane Erie. So I chronicled it through the lens of my camera.
So wait, how many years did you film this then?
That was 99, so February 11th of 99. Wow. And I finished it on the Neary fight, which was 2000, almost a little over a year later.
So did you always have this idea that you wanted to be a filmmaker, or is this something that just kind of evolved because of the story that was right in front of you? Well,
I've always written scripts, but I knew how hard it was to get actually someone to sit down and read a script. So I thought, hey, with a visual, these two guys, it's a true story. Let me try to figure out how to work a camera and edit it and set it to music. And that was kind of the basic framework of the story. And then Paul and Eric came on board, and they worked with me. They nailed the scripts. They came in town. I introduced them to, Mickey, Dick, and all the players. And for the next year, they really started to, hash out the story. We came up with a treatment, and, eventually it was sold to Paramount Pictures in a bidding war.
Wow, that's pretty good. A bidding war. I mean, is this your first time movie?
Yeah.
How in the world did you get them in a bidding war? I mean, you got to be pretty good to do something like that.
Well, Universal, Revolution, Paramount, and HBO were all, vying for the story. So it was just incredible time. And I think that passion is carried through, and everybody that's touched the project along the way has added to it. Christian Bale, Mark Wahlberg, Amy. Everybody had kind of input on the process toward the end, because David was good at working with the actors and getting their input and coming up with his own. And I think what he added was a lot of humor to which really made the story, even much better. So, it's just it was a long process, but here we are. Who would ever thought that I'd be at the,
Yeah.
But I actually, people said, did you envision that? I said, yeah. If I didn't envision actually being at the Oscars, and I wouldn't have even started the story to begin with. So for me, it's a dream come true. And
obviously. My gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I started, I was 39, and I was in a whole nother industry, and it took this long to get made. I'll be 49 in April, so.
So the two guys that are in there, Christian Bale and Mark Wahlberg, I mean, those are some pretty big names. Did you have them in mind, or, how did that come about?
Well, originally the writers were repped by, I think it was the Firm at the time, and they had Donnie Wahlberg. So I asked Donnie originally I thought two brothers playing two brothers would be good.
Yeah.
And I approached Donnie, and through Paul and Eric, and he loved the story and said, I'll show it to my brother. And from there, the kind of different characters that played Dickie's character would change, but Mark seemed like he was, really devoted to doing it. So.
Oh, that's really cool. So Oscar week, for you, you've got to be swamped, excited. Everything like your stomach's going to be in knots.
It's just, talk about your stomach in knots. Yeah, I've been, I get up in the morning sometimes. You have to say, is this real? The emails, the congratulatory, friends who've seen the whole process are really just send me the most heartfelt emails, and I see it in my daughter's eyes. I can see how excited she is, and and how proud she is, and it's surreal.
And she's been watching you go through this entire process.
Yeah, the entire process. I mean, she was 17 months, I think. She's almost 14 now. Yeah.
Wow, almost her entire life then.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Okay, so since you've been here in LA, you've got all these things that are going on because of the fighter. What has been thus far one of your most memorable or favorite events or happenings since the fighter came out?
The red carpet was,
from the premiere?
From the premiere.
Yeah.
I mean, to finally actually see the movie in front of a crowd and have that type of reaction, it's just, you can't believe it. I've gone to the theaters 3 times since that to just watch the crowd's reaction, and I rarely see people clap and cheer at the end of the movie, but they clap and cheer at the end of this movie. It's not because they know anybody that's part of the movie's there. That's just their reaction. So I think a lot of people have embraced the story because it's about, overcoming adversity, and nobody's time's over till it's over, and that you can still make a comeback. And my story kind of paralleled theirs as well. I mean, I was 39 thinking everybody's going, "You're getting into film? Are you crazy?"
Yeah, of course. They tell you that when you're 18,
right?
right?
Yeah, you crazy? You got a great job now. So, I mean, for me, it's similar to the storyline itself, where I've always dreamed and had a passion for film, and that's the pastime I used to do with my dad before he passed away. He would, that was what we did from the time I was 6. We'd watch old time movies and popcorn, and sit there and just, so I know he's looking down on me, probably saying, he's proud. So.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Now,
Thanks.
I know you've got to be looking forward to the Oscars. Can I ask if you've already written your acceptance speech?
I haven't. I usually don't really try to go from the heart. So I framework it, and then I try to just draw from that. I mean, it's a team collaborative effort. So, the writing award is going to 4 writers, and each one had a lot of input into the process and making it what it is. So it's more of a it wouldn't be an acceptance speech for myself. It would be for the collaboration of all of us, including the cast and crew. So that's we're trying to all 3 of us and 4 of us are talking over what's the best to come up with.
Now, of course, you're going to have a lot of people that are following the fighter that have been watching the movie, that they've been following it along. What's some backstory they probably haven't seen in the movie interviews or something like that sticks out in your mind?
Let me think. Backstory? Can you hold that on for 1 second? Let me think. I'm trying to think what good backstory we have. Funny thing was when I was at the Oscar nomination where they give out the certificate, and I was there at the they call you up on stage and they take the overall picture, and a lot of the actors are so gracious and nice and kind, and when I was getting up on stage, I gave Amy Adams a hug. I said congratulations. I gave Melissa a hug, and they had this magnetic name tag, and it would be great to keep for nostalgic purposes, but I must have dropped it when I gave him a hug. So I got off stage and I'm getting ready to leave, and I'm walking out the door, and all of a sudden Colin Smith calls me over. He goes, "Keith, where are you going?" I said, "Hey, Colin, great to meet you."
Colin Firth.
Yeah, yes. Colin Firth came over and said, "Where are you going, Keith?" And I said, "Oh, I'm, leaving out the door." And he said, "Well, wait a minute, you can't leave yet." He says, "I have your name tag," and he opened it up. So he took the time to pick it up on stage and give me back my name tag. So it was what a great guy,
Oh, that is so very cool. So now, since you've done the fighter, what's next? Are you going to sit on your laurels for a while?
No, I'm actually bouncing right back into it next week.
Yeah.
I've been meeting with Showtime on a series. I've been meeting with several other studios. I'm working with another director who was nominated. I can't say yet, but we're working on a project, and so we'll see.
Okay. Well, meanwhile,
it won't take as long as this last one, though. I can tell you that.
Well, I have a feeling it won't.
No. I've got completed scripts, so I think I can start to package and working now on moving them forward. So
that's good.
Different process,
So meanwhile, if people want to catch up with what you're doing and what you're working on, where's the best place for people to find you on the internet?
Probably KeithDorrington.com.
Okay.
I have a website, or on Facebook.
Facebook, Twitter.
I Twitter, yeah.
All that, and it's you, right?
Oh yeah, it's me.
Okay, it's not somebody else.
No.
Okay, well, we're going to have to catch up with you, follow your career, and Keith, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We'll take